Can I call this meeting to order? Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Mako?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, all. Roll call.
Greenberg is absent. Hicks.
Here.
Mako.
Here.
Chappaka.
Here.
Siriano.
Here.
Tamarkin.
Here.
Wester's absent.
So we do have a quorum with 5. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda need to be brought up at this time?
No, sir.
We have a couple meeting minutes to approve. 2023-0139, the Planning Commission meetings for 7/12/2023 were sent out. Any questions? So I have a motion.
So, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the July the 12th meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Is there a second?
Second, Mako.
Thank you, Mr. Mako. We have a motion by Mr. Hicks and seconded by Mr. Mako for the approval meeting minutes for 7/12. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hicks.
Yes.
Mako.
Yes.
Chappaka.
Yes.
Siriano.
Yes.
Tamarkin.
Motion passes. Second are the commission meeting minutes for 7/26/23. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the July 26th meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Is there a second?
Second, Mako.
Very good. We have a motion by Mr. Hicks and seconded by Mr. Mako. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hicks.
Yes.
Mako.
Yes.
Chappaka.
Abstain?
Siriano.
Yes.
Tamarkin.
Yes.
Motion passes. We now enter the portion for the applicants and speakers to be sworn in by our city attorney, Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are now at the public hearing portion of the meeting. The public hearing will operate as follows. Administrative staff will make a presentation or comment on the application. The applicant or their representative may then make a presentation or comment on the application. Public comment will then be open for 3 minutes allowed per speaker. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. Speakers must complete a speaker slip and come to the podium and state their name. The applicant will then be given 10 minutes to comment. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. If there is more than one application pending for a particular address, the presentation on each application may be consolidated and presented as one. At this time, will persons wishing to present testimony this evening please rise and raise your right hand to be sworn in? Rise. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, state I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. We now enter the application portion of our meeting. Minutes, we have one item on our agenda. It is a plat application, for preliminary plat application for Crescent Woods. Very good. Application number PP-0001-2023 to consider a preliminary plat application for Crescent Woods for 40.087 plus or minus acres located at 0 Hamilton Road, parcel ID numbers 025-013767, 025-014172, and 025-014173. Current zoning, MFPRD and SCPD. Griffin Caldwell applicant. I'll turn it over for Mr. Blackford for the presentation for administration.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chair. Tonight, just the one application, a preliminary plat. I know we don't see too many of these. I think this is the second one I've worked on since I've been with Gahanna here. Like he stated, the zoning, there's one parcel, 2 different zonings. The red area, the zoning map's a little bit outdated. That red area is actually larger now. That is the multifamily zone portion of the Crescent at Central Park. The light blue area there, the blue area, that's the Select Commercial Plan District. We can take a look at some of those properties, but again, this is the Crescent Woods preliminary plat. This is a portion of the Crescent at Central Park. Not a whole bunch to cover with this particular application. What you see on your screen right now is sort of on the, let me get my little laser pointer up. This area right in here, this is the multifamily portion of the project. And again, right now, this is all one parcel right in here. This is the Orthopedic 1, Ortho 1 site that recently went through Planning Commission, which hopefully will be under some construction activities here very soon. And then this area here, this is parcel 3, or lot 3, I should say, of the plat. This is not come before Planning Commission with any users or a defined lot layout at this time. A preliminary plat application is kind of unique. It's the only preliminary application we have in the city. Right after this application, if it's approved, they go into the final plat application process, which is essentially the exact same information in the same documents. So I would suspect that we'll be seeing a final plat application submitted here to the city very shortly and in front of Planning Commission here very shortly as well. Interestingly enough, the zoning code does not have any criteria or findings of fact, anything to consider with the preliminary plat for Planning Commission. It says that you all have to approve it though before they can get into that final plat process. So I'm pretty certain they'll be turning around very shortly with again, a 3-lot plat here. Part of their application included a conceptual master plan. Again, this is the multifamily that we've already seen and approved. This is Orthopedic 1. And this area here, whether there's a drive here or this is the exact lot layout, not determined at this point in time. They can come back after the preliminary plat and final plat and do like a subdivision, a lot split application. It might not require a platting, so this might be a staff level decision, approval process, I should say, in the future. With platting, really, from a zoning standpoint, it's making sure that the lots meet minimum lot size and lot frontage. These are all very large lots. The SCPD, Select Commercial Plan District zoning, if I recall correctly, does not have a minimum lot size to it. But again, this would well exceed any minimum lot sizes of any of our zoning designations. It has frontage. It's been through the engineering review, and they've signed off. There's no open comments from staff. Again, no approval or denial criteria within the code for staff or for Planning Commission to consider. I can tell you that this application requires no variances, which is always a nice thing. And again, if it's approved before you all, I would expect a final plat to be before Planning Commission here in the somewhat near future. That's really it, all for staff. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Blackford. That had to be a record. So now we open up the public portion of the meeting for public comment. Is the applicant here? Would you like to have comments? You have 10 minutes. Well, since you're the only one here, if you want to come up to the mic, state your name and address in case we reserve questions from the commission.
Griffin Caldwell, 250 Civic Center Drive, Columbus, Ohio, 43215.
Thank you, Griffin. Is there anybody from the public here? Not seeing any. Do we have any emails or
No, sir.
comments? All right, we will close the public portion and open it up for questions from the commission. Starting on my left.
No questions for me?
No questions?
Starting going to my right. None.
None here.
None here.
The only question I have is actually for Mr. Blackford. So this could come before us again with another lot split, or? For the image that you gave us, it looked like there was possibly 3 other
Yeah, so
scenarios.
the conceptual plan, which this, if I recall correctly, had like a February date. So it's a little bit dated, but it was in your application packet. So this, if they wanted to, right now, this is all one lot, lot 3. They could come in and subdivide this. That is an administrative process now through the code changes. as long as it meets all zoning requirements for lot size and lot frontage. As long as there weren't any variances, after that final plat is approved, they could subdivide that, that one that one lot, lot 3, they could subdivide it administratively, yes, sir.
So if the road comes into play, then you're got a satellite, you got another out parcel that comes into play.
If
That would trigger it.
Yes, and that's my understanding, is that the ORC, Ohio Revised Code, requires public streets to be platted. I'm not like a subject matter expert, but I believe I've heard the engineers saying that, and that's why they have to plat, because this right here, this is a public street, which I believe will have a road name associated with it on the final plat. But this is a private drive, and if it's drives, that's more of the administrative. If it's public roads, then it has to be platted and come back before you all.
There you go. Thanks for the clarification.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very good. We have a motion for PP 00012023.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve item PP-0001-2023.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Is there a second?
Second, Soriano.
Thank you, Mr. Soriano. We have a motion by Mr. Hicks and seconded by Mr. Soriano. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Hicks,
Yes.
Soriano,
Yes.
Mako,
Yes.
Chappaka,
Yes.
Tamarkin.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. So this is a recommendation to the city council, is what we approve.
No,
No?
no.
A recommendation to,
If you approve the preliminary plat, and then they can move forward with the final plat.
and that will go to the city council.
Yes, the
There you
final plat does, yes, sir.
Very good. Is there any unfinished business? I stretched this out as long as I could. Any new business?
No, sir.
Hearing none. Official reports. Assistant City Attorney,
Nothing at this time.
Director of Planning.
One item I'd like to bring up very quickly. At our last meeting, it was brought up about maybe there was some inconsistency with a particular electronic sign, the Burger King sign. We went back and we did some research, and it is not consistent. So we've made contact with Burger King, and they are aware. And so we anticipate that to be brought up in compliance, or some level of code enforcement action would be brought up. So I want to say thank you for bringing that up. Oddly enough, drive by it and I always think how ugly it looks, sorry. But it does, with the red and that, and didn't realize it was supposed to be amber, and we never had that brought up. But the minutes were very clear, so thank you all for doing a great job during that. So it was very clear what was allowed, what wasn't. And so the movement that was occurring on it and the colors, they're aware of that. They said that they would be changing it, but, code enforcement will be following up. So I wanted to say, follow up to that issue that was brought up last meeting. So thank you.
Thank you.
Had any comments for council liaison?
Yeah, two things real quickly. One was Monday night. We just talked about Crescent Woods and the Ortho 1 project. On that agenda, there was an O&I incentive, an office and industrial incentive. There's not a lot of those that are, most of the incentives in Gahanna are tax abatements. Most of them aren't income tax. I think this is like the second one council said in the last 4 years, which there was probably only one more. And that shows you, just to let you know, Ortho 1, that means there's a lot of jobs. And usually with the office incentives, it's a lot of jobs in order for that to be worthwhile for the city and for the business. So they did get an office industrial incentive. And there are a few activities within the Department of Planning that don't go through Planning Commission and on council. Monday, you all would have heard it, though, as part of the code changes that we presented back in the spring. One of those code changes was to Chapter 13, which is our building code, and it was to eliminate our contractor registration requirement, which I think some municipalities don't have, and that was successfully passed by council. So thank you for Planning Commission for recommending those changes. Staff very much believe that that'll be a very much a beneficial improvement to the permitting and construction process here in Gahanna. So thank you all to Planning Commission, and thank you to City Council for passing that. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frankfurt. Is the mayor in the house? Madam Mayor? Do you have any comments? We can hear you from here.
I shared Monday night, the Ortho one and the contractor registration. All right.
Thank you.
Speechless, the
No
mayor.
comments from the chair. Any other correspondence and actions?
Yes, sir.
Seeing none, poll members, comments? None? So I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.